So everything we've heard regarding this year's Apple Watches have been very boring to say the least, but thankfully we do now have some relatively exciting news regarding Apple delving into 3D printing, and also news regarding the death of the leather bands Apple sells, so let's delve into it. Beginning with the news regarding 3D printing, allegedly Apple's using 3D printers to make the chassis for the stainless steel Apple Watch Series 9. Now you may be thinking, aren't 3D printers used by nerds in their garages for a bit of arts and crafts? Well yes, people do use it for that purpose, but also there are some major benefits for Apple to jump on this trend because, for one, they can use less material than the large slabs of metal needed for traditional CNC manufacturing, but also, of course, it would cut down on the time it takes to manufacture new devices. So basically, Tim, being the logistics genius, he wants to maximize the efficiency of the supply chain, and I'm sure all of this information gets him very giddy. And by the way, would like to remind you guys, like this video and subscribe for more content like this, it would be appreciated. Since, of course, using less material and cutting down on manufacturing time ultimately results in more juicy profits, which is all Timothy cares about. Now, does all this 3D printing news pique your interest? No? Well, I have more specific details either way, guys, so listen up. Apparently, Apple's using a fancy technique called binder jetting for their watches, where Apple basically prints a device's outline close to its actual shape using a powdered substance. That sounds pretty fishy out of context, but anyways, then there's a second process used where heat and pressure is used to squeeze the material into a substance that feels like steel, and it's then refined with a milling process. So yeah, that's all very cool and very high tech, very nice. Now, the biggest surprise for me is the fact Garmin says this method's only going to be used on the stainless steel Apple Watch Series 9, and not the Ultra like Quo told us in the past. Quo also told us only some of the buttons on the Ultra would be 3D printed, but Garmin says no, that's not the case, the whole body is going to be 3D printed. So who do we trust, guys? It's Quo versus Garmin, two notorious Apple gurus head to head, but I guess we'll have to wait for the event and see what ends up being right. Now, Garmin does say titanium devices, aka the Apple Watch Ultra, is going to be printed in 2024, and eventually this process is going to expand to other products, since Apple's been developing this 3D printing process for at least 3 years. So yeah, this is a long-term technique Apple wants to use and implement on all their devices. Moving on to leather bands, it's time for the cows all over the world to rejoice because Apple's supposedly done with these. Now this makes sense because we had previously heard that Apple plans to eliminate leather cases for the 15 series, so the same happening with the Apple Watch makes sense, and I don't care, guys. Apple's bands are overpriced anyways, and if you desperately need some leather on your wrist, I'm sure you can find high quality third-party options without the Apple tax. However, for the loaded boys out there who want to flex their Hermès bands, they might be wondering if this partnership is going to continue, because right now most of the bands and accessories that fall under this partnership are made out of leather, and so the elimination of leather puts their collaboration in a bit of a sticky situation. Garmin has also said that Apple's offering employees its Apple Watch Hermès leather accessories at heavily discounted prices, with some being 90% off, which is ludicrous. However, what's funny is that because these bands were hella overpriced to begin with, a 90% discount brings them to $85, which is still a lot of money, not gonna lie. I would not buy at that price, but I guess it's better than $850 for a bloody band. Now, even though Apple's clearing every evidence of Hermès from their store, Garmin does tell us the internal deal's still on, so there is a chance they switch to foul leather for the Hermès accessories instead. Now, by the way, we have heard about a new woven fabric band with a magnetic buckle that, of course, is also coming to Apple Watch Series 9. And well, guess what, guys? Apple is also going to make this eco-friendly with a new fabric that they call fine woven, which honestly does not sound very Apple-like, but anyways, they're using this also with their new iPhone cases, and you can bet Apple's going to charge something ridiculous for these because it's a fancy, innovative material. So yeah, guys, I'm just going to stick to my basic silicone bands. At the end of the day though, yes, I do believe all these rumors. Apple loves to flex how green they are, and you can bet your bottom dollar the event's gonna have a solid chunk dedicated to how sustainable they are and how they love the environment. And well, you know what that means? Lisa's gonna be back on the roof. Now for those wanting a recap as to what to expect with these new watches, thankfully this won't take too long because there's really not a lot that's different with these watches. Beginning with the Series 9, this is going to be that typical spec refresh where Apple gives us a slightly better chip inside and a brand new colour for the sheep to get giddy about, and apparently that colour is going to be a pink. So yeah, this is the Apple Watch Barbie edition. And I know some might be against the shade because it's a girly colour, but honestly guys, if it's a bright pink, I'm down. Though I will say my hope for a bright pink has dwindled ever since we saw the iPhone 15 colours, because we were initially expecting bright saturated finishes, but now we're getting the most pale crap I've ever seen. And well, for consistency reasons, I can already see Apple giving us this pink shade on the Apple Watch that honestly looks like white. Moving on to the chip inside, this will be the first truly brand new chip for the watch since the Series 6. Yes, the S6, the S7, and the S8 might have different names, but they're literally the same, and are just reskinned versions of the A13. However, with S9 we're jumping all the way to A15 guys, so now you can use the blazing fast performance to scroll slightly faster through your notifications. But who cares about performance upgrades when we could see battery upgrades? It's fair to say many have wanted this with the regular watches, because while we got that with the Ultra, not everyone has $800 lying around for a new watch. And so please Apple, give the regular watches some sort of upgrade because they've been stuck at 18 hours of endurance since 2014. Now a chip upgrade at most could give us 1 more hour of endurance, but please Apple, squeeze in thicker batteries. Many would appreciate that. So yes, I'm hoping we see that with the Series 9, even though there's not been any rumors regarding bigger batteries. Now moving on to the Ultra 2, what can we expect with this? Well, again guys, there's not many changes. It could be slightly lighter, but ultimately the reason Apple's releasing this is because the Series 9 is getting that new chip, and obviously Apple's expensive watch can't miss out on this very important upgrade, so they have to chuck this into the Ultra as well. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and thank you for watching.